welcome aboard to a Christmas edition of the Sports Talk Nation here on this Christmas Eve. We want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas during this holiday season. So if you are a Mets fan, as we're going to talk a little bit about some baseball, because the Mets continue to make drastic moves to their roster, as Jeff McNeil is now the latest veteran player on this squad to either be traded or sign elsewhere. Of course, he was traded to the Sacramento/Las Vegas A's just the other day for a right-handed minor league prospect in Yordan Rodriguez. The Mets paying off $5.75 million of the $15.75 million that McNeil is due this year in 2026. He's to make $15.75 million, and then, of course, the Mets will cover a $2 million buyout as well. Basically, the Mets paying the A's to take Jeff McNeil off their hands. Look, he was a scrappy player, had that batting title a couple of years ago in 2022, where he hit .326. Yes, he had the issues with Lindor off the field or on the field, whatever went on there. But the thing about McNeil is, like I said, a scrappy player, homegrown guy who always found ways to, even when things weren't going great, would find ways to get on base, would sometimes get a big base hit, had a couple of big moments. A good player. Not a great player, but a good player. And he goes to an A's team that's very young, that has some budding stars on it. Of course, they're still a couple of years away from getting over to Vegas. He'll be in a hitters-friendly ballpark in Sacramento for this year at the very least. As for the Mets are concerned, what has been called a purge continues for the Mets. So if you're a Met fan, this has not been a very Merry Christmas. It hasn't been very merry much at all this season. It feels like at times that David Stearns is playing the role of the Grinch. Well, at this point, I'm almost numb to everything that's been going on right now. I really am. We've had Edwin Diaz, of course, get signed with the Los Angeles Dodgers. He took the best offer he could get because the Mets again lowballed him initially at 3 years, $66. He took 3 years, $69 from the Dodgers. Pete Alonso, of course, the Mets decided not to go beyond 3 years with him. He takes a 5-year deal with the Orioles. The Mets also traded in Brandon Nimmo, now McNeil. You also saw Tyler Rogers go to the Blue Jays. So the Mets losing a lot of key pieces to this team. We've heard rumblings about clubhouse discord with Francisco Lindor, whether it be Lindor's relationship with either McNeil or with Brandon Nimmo. It's been a lot of stuff that's been going on the papers. So it hasn't been good. It hasn't been good. And at this point, I am numb to this kind of news when I see Jeff McNeil getting traded to the A's, because let's be honest, this is what David Stearns is going to do. He wants to rebuild this team in whatever image that's going to be, and it looks like it's going to be an image of a very young baseball team with prospects, relying heavily on prospects. But what really kills me is this. This was a team that was already built on, for the majority, homegrown players. Outside of Edwin Diaz, think of the guys that are homegrown that are now gone. Nimmo, gone. He was homegrown. McNeil was homegrown. He's gone. Alonso, homegrown. He's now gone. You want to go back to Jacob deGrom, homegrown. He is now gone. So the Mets have said goodbye to a lot of their own homegrown players over the last couple of years, and this is what Stearns has been doing. Building a team that he feels can compete in the long run with young players. We'll have to wait and see if that actually transpires. But that's what the Mets are going to be, a young baseball team, and it's going to be a lot of pressure on Stearns to make it work. Now, we keep hearing all these rumors about, well, the Mets are going to go out there and kick the tires on a Ketel Marte trade, or knock the door on Framber Valdez. I don't know if those moves are going to happen or not at this point. It just feels like this is a team that right now is trying to pull back on the purse strings, if you will. I think that a lot of this is connected to whatever may happen down the road towards 2027 with regards to the labor dispute, and the fact that there could be a salary cap come 2027 if there is a season in 2027. That's part of the big dispute. And perhaps Steve Cohen and the Mets, they want to get under a certain threshold, maybe under $300 million. We already hear about the Yankees potentially trying to stay at or below $300 million, and they haven't done much of anything themselves either this offseason. It's been a offseason of coal for both the Mets and the Yankee fans so far this year because there hasn't been a lot to write home about. The one things the Mets have done to replace some of the players they have lost, obviously bringing in Marcus Semien, Jorge Polanco, those are the two big moves. And I'll be honest, neither move is going to do a whole heck of a lot to replace the players they have lost. Yes, Semien is a very good glove at second base, but his offensive production has declined. You have Polanco, which is a move that I understand from the power standpoint because he did hit 26 home runs rather, last year in Seattle, but he's mostly a middle infielder. He plays mostly second base. He could give you some shortstop, could play third. But when the Mets signed him about a week or so ago, they were talking about him playing first base. And I look it up, and he's only played like 2 career games at first. So how does that work? Jorge Polanco at first base? You kidding? So I assume at this point Polanco's probably going to be DH/utility guy, and we're looking at Mark Vientos right now at first base for the New York Mets here in 2026. So it's dicey. But the biggest problem for the Mets is this: they have no pitching. I know you now have Devin Williams, now a closer, who was terrible last year with the Yankees. You have Luke Weaver, who he was very good in 2024, not great in 2025. 2 former Yankees now in that bullpen. But the starting rotation for the Mets, it's nothing to write home about. You know, Sean Manaea, where will he be? Now a full year off of injury. Kodai Senga, there have been rumors about the Mets wanting to trade him. David Peterson, there have been rumors about the Mets wanting to trade him. What are the Mets' plans as far as the starting pitcher is concerned? Because the Mets need an ace. They need a bona fide ace in this rotation. Is Nolan McLean going to be the ace? Is he right now? I'd imagine right now, if the season started today, he would be the opening day starter. So it's certainly not a rosy picture as far as the New York Mets are concerned. And as far as David Stearns is concerned and Steve Cohen, they have the keys to the Maserati. They have made these swift changes. They have shown that they're intent on having a full-scale rebuild for this baseball team, even with both Francisco Lindor and Juan Soto on this team. Of course, the two of them together, $93 million this year alone, for example. Of course, those two guys are still here long-term as far as the contract is concerned, so it remains to be seen what David Stearns is going to do next. But if everything is as we've seen so far, don't be shocked if the teardown continues, as the Mets look like they are in full-scale rebuild mode. As far as the Yankees are concerned, as I mentioned them just briefly, they have been very quiet this offseason because everyone's talking about the Mets and the moves the Mets have done to purge their roster. What are the Yankees doing? Obviously picked up the option on Trent Grisham. They re-signed Paul Blackburn to a 1-year deal, re-signed Rosario to a 1-year deal. What's going to happen with Cody Bellinger? A lot of talk that Bellinger may consider the Mets, or at least the Mets may consider him. But the Yankees, I think, are a better fit for Cody Bellinger, certainly from the standpoint of the ballpark. Left-handed hitter in that ballpark. He had a tremendous season last season for the Yankees. I think he should stay there. What are the Yankees going to do there to bring him back, if at all? And if he does leave, what are the other options for the Yankees at that point? To give Aaron Judge a little more protection in the lineup, because he definitely could use that, especially when you have Giancarlo Stanton, who at times, and it's been the case the last couple of years, doesn't always stay healthy. So as we sit here during this Christmas holiday season, and unwrapping gifts and enjoying the company of loved ones, and it's not such a jolly time for the Mets or Yankees. But you know what, folks? All I can tell you is, there's not much I can tell you. There's not much I can tell you. It's just not so much. Just enjoy the holiday season. That's really all I can say, because it doesn't look too good for our baseball teams here in New York. Like, subscribe. Merry Christmas. We'll talk to you next time.